My friends, let me tell you a secret: your dream life is not waiting for you in some magical tomorrow. It's waiting for you in the minutes you waste today. Napoleon Hill once said, "Don't wait. The time will never be just right." And he was right. Most people waste their lives waiting for the perfect time, the perfect mood, the perfect opportunity, the perfect support. But here's the harsh truth: there is no perfect time. There's only now. Think about it. How many times have you said, "Next Monday I'll start. Next year I'll work on my goals. After things calm down, I'll focus on my dreams." And guess what? That next Monday never comes. That next year slips away. Life doesn't calm down, it just keeps moving. If you waste your time scrolling endlessly, binge watching shows, or complaining about problems, you are literally trading your life for nothing. But if you use your time wisely, every small action builds the foundation of your dream life. So today, I want you to wake up. Not tomorrow, not next month. Right now. Stop wasting time and start building. Remember, your dream life is like a house. Every single day you either place a brick or you sit and do nothing. The choice is yours, and one day, you'll either stand in front of a mansion called your dream life or an empty plot full of excuses. So let's break this down into 7 powerful keys. And I'll keep it a little fun, because success doesn't have to feel like punishment. 1. Stop waiting for motivation. Act first, feel later. Here's the biggest trap most people fall into. They sit around waiting for motivation like it's some kind of bus that will pick them up. They think one morning they'll wake up, hear angels singing, the sun shining extra bright, and suddenly they'll feel ready to chase their dreams. But let me ask you, how often does that actually happen? Almost never. Motivation is not a starting point, it's a result. It shows up after you take action, not before. Think about it. Do you wait for motivation to brush your teeth? No. You don't say, "Let me wait until I feel inspired by the toothbrush." You just do it, because it's necessary. The same rule applies to building your dream life. Most people say things like, "I'll start working out when I feel motivated. I'll study when I feel ready. I'll work on my business idea when I'm in the mood." Guess what? That mood never arrives. If you wait to feel like it, you'll be waiting forever. Here's the truth: action creates motivation. When you take the first step, even if it's small, your brain feels a little proud. That pride fuels energy, that energy fuels momentum, and suddenly you're motivated. Let me give you a simple example. Imagine you have to write a 10-page report. It feels huge, overwhelming, boring. You don't feel like doing it. But if you just say, "Let me write one sentence," something interesting happens. After the first sentence, the second comes easier. Before you know it, you've written a page, and now you're in the flow. That's how motivation really works. It doesn't come before the work. It comes from the work. So stop waiting for that magical lightning bolt of inspiration. If you only work when you feel like it, you'll live your whole life at the mercy of your emotions. Winners don't wait to feel good. Winners create momentum by doing what needs to be done, no matter how they feel. And here's a fun truth: your brain is lazy but also predictable. Once you trick it into starting, it usually keeps going. It's like pushing a car. The first push is the hardest, but once it's moving, it rolls much easier. So next time you feel lazy, don't say, "I'll wait until I'm motivated." Say, "I'll just take the first step no matter what." You don't need to feel ready. You just need to begin. 2. Your phone is not your boss. Take back control. Let's be honest, how many times have you opened your phone just for 5 minutes, and suddenly 2 hours disappeared? You didn't even notice where the time went. One moment you were checking a message, the next you were scrolling reels about cats dancing, random memes, and people lip syncing to songs you don't even like. And here's the funny but painful truth: your phone is not your assistant anymore. It has become your boss. It decides when you wake up, when you sleep, when you focus, and even when you eat. Think about it. You're sitting down to do something important. Maybe study, maybe work, maybe brainstorm ideas. But ping, a notification pops up. You tell yourself, "Oh, I'll just check for 30 seconds. But that 30 seconds drags you into a black hole of endless scrolling. By the time you look up, you don't even remember what you were supposed to do in the first place. That's how your phone steals your dream life. Not in big obvious chunks, but in tiny little bites. 10 minutes here, 20 minutes there. And if you add it up, you're losing hours every single day. That's not just lost time. That's lost opportunity. That's hours you could have spent working on your dream, learning a new skill, building your future. Here's the truth: your phone is a tool, not a master. A hammer doesn't force you to hit nails, and a car doesn't force you to drive. But somehow, your phone controls you instead of the other way around. The trick is to flip the power back. You have to tell your phone, hey, you work for me. I don't work for you. Simple example. If you need your phone for work or study, fine. But if you don't, put it away. Keep it in another room. Put it on airplane mode. If you're the type of person who can't resist, then yes, throw it across the room like it owes you rent money. Okay, don't actually break it, but you get the point. Even better, set boundaries with it. Give yourself specific times when you can use social media guilt-free, and specific times when your phone is off limits. That way, your brain learns, now I'm building, later I'll scroll. Because here's the thing: your dream life will never be built on TikTok, Instagram, or endless YouTube rabbit holes. Those apps are designed to keep you hooked, not to make you successful. And the more time you give them, the less time you give your own goals. So the next time your hand automatically reaches for your phone, pause for a second and ask yourself, am I using this device, or is it using me? 3. Replace excuses with execution. Excuses, oh, they're the most creative stories we tell ourselves. And the funny part, we don't even realize how talented we are at making them. If there were Olympics for excuses, most people would win gold medals every single year. Think about it. I don't have time. I'm too tired. I'll start when things calm down. I don't have the right equipment, money, or support. Sounds familiar? These are the little lies we whisper to ourselves to feel better about not taking action. But here's the truth: excuses don't build dreams. Execution does. Imagine you want to build a house. If every day you show up at the site and say, well, I don't have enough energy today, maybe tomorrow, would that house ever exist? Of course not. But if you show up daily, even with just one brick, sooner or later the walls rise. Excuses are easy because they give comfort. Execution is hard because it demands effort. But comfort zones don't create dream lives. They create regret. Here's the brutal reality: every time you make an excuse, someone else out there with fewer resources, fewer advantages, and more challenges is still making it happen. History is full of people who had every reason to give up but chose execution instead. Example: Thomas Edison. He didn't say, I failed 1,000 times. Maybe I'm not meant to invent the light bulb. No. He said, I found 1,000 ways that didn't work. That's not an excuse, that's execution. Or look at athletes. They don't say, it's raining, so I can't train today. They find a way to train indoors. They don't say, I'm sore, so I'll skip practice. They say, I'll stretch, I'll adjust, but I'll keep moving. That's the mindset you need shift from why I can't to how I can. And here's a trick: next time you hear yourself making an excuse, flip it into the real truth. Instead of, I don't have time, say, it's not my priority. Instead of, I don't have money, say, I'm not willing to find a way. Instead of, I don't know how, say, I'm not willing to learn yet. Yes, it stings, but that sting is the spark that pushes you toward execution. Because once you replace excuses with small actions, you realize the truth: it's not about having time, money, or perfect circumstances. It's about showing up and doing what you can with what you have, right where you are. 4. Time is your currency. Spend it like it matters. If I gave you 100 and somebody snatched it from your hand, you'd get angry, right? You'd chase them down, demand it back, maybe even call the police. But here's the funny part: when someone steals 2 hours of your life, through distractions, gossip, or meaningless scrolling, you don't even flinch, you don't notice. And that's the most dangerous robbery of all. Why? Because money lost can be earned again. But time lost, it's gone forever. Time is the one currency you can't refill. Think of your day as a bank account. Every morning life deposits 24 hours into your account. No more, no less. And every night, whatever you didn't use wisely expires. You don't get to carry it over. That's it. Gone. Most people spend this currency like it's unlimited. They waste hours on drama, negativity, and distractions, as if they'll live forever. But here's the reality: you don't have forever. You don't even know how much you have left. That's what makes time more valuable than gold. Let me paint a picture. Imagine a man who spends 10 $10 every day carelessly, without thinking. You'd call him crazy, right? But isn't that what most of us do with our time? We spend it recklessly, as if another 24 hours will always show up tomorrow. Now, look at successful people. The one thing they all have in common is this: they treat time like treasure. They know every hour counts. They invested in learning, in building, in relationships that matter, in habits that compound over years. That's why their lives look different. Here's the secret: time doesn't just pass, it compounds. If you waste 1 hour every day, that's 365 hours in a year, over 15 full days gone. Imagine what you could have built in those 15 days. On the flip side, if you use 1 extra hour daily to work on your dream, that's 365 hours of progress. Enough to write a book, start a business, learn a new skill, or transform your body. It all comes down to this question: are you spending your time or investing it? Spending time feels good now but leaves you empty later, like binge, watching shows all night. Investing time feels tough now but pays you later, like working on your craft, exercising, or studying. And here's a fun but painful truth: lazy hours are the most expensive hours you'll ever spend. Because you don't just lose time, you lose the results, opportunities, and future that could have come from using that time wisely. So the next time you casually waste an hour, picture it as burning a 100 bill. Would you do that? No. Then don't burn your hours either. 5. Build daily habits, not random bursts. Most people live their lives in bursts. They get a wave of motivation, they start something with fire in their eyes, and for a few days they're unstoppable. But then, that energy crashes, the excitement fades, and they stop. And here's the truth: random bursts of effort don't build dream lives. Daily habits do. Think about fitness. How many times have you seen people join the gym in January, full of New Year's energy? For 2 weeks they're on fire. New shoes, new diet, posting sweaty selfies. But by February, the gym is empty again. Why? Because they relied on hype, not habit. Dreams aren't built on hype. Dreams are built brick by brick, day by day. Habits are the secret weapon. They're small, consistent actions that feel boring in the moment, but create massive results over time. 1 push-up won't change your body, but 20 push-ups every day for a year, transformation. 1 page won't make you an author, but 1 page a day for a year, a whole book. Saving $5 won't make you rich, but saving daily for years. Financial freedom. It's not about what you do once in a while, it's about what you do consistently. Here's the magic: habits remove the need for willpower. When something becomes a habit, you don't argue with yourself about whether you feel like doing it. You just do it. Just like brushing your teeth. You don't think, you just act. And here's a fun way to look at it: imagine your dream life is like a garden. If you water it once in a while with a giant bucket, the plants will die between waterings. But if you water it a little every day, the garden flourishes. Your habits are the daily drops that keep your dream alive. The problem is most people want quick results. They do something for a week, and when they don't see progress, they quit. But here's a truth Napoleon Hill himself would remind you: success is a slow cooker, not a microwave. Habits may feel slow, but they're unstoppable once they compound. So instead of asking, "What can I do today to change my life instantly?" ask, "What small action can I repeat daily that will compound into transformation?" Because the person who wins is not the one who does the most in a day, but the one who does a little every day without stopping. 6. Surround yourself with builders, not time wasters. There's a simple law of life: you become like the people you spend the most time with. If your circle is lazy, negative, and full of excuses, it's only a matter of time before you start sounding, thinking, and acting just like them. On the other hand, if your circle is driven, focused, and building their lives, their energy pulls you upward. Think about it. When you hang around people who waste time, what do? You waste time with them. Endless gossip, video games for hours, late-night pointless hangouts, or complaining about life without doing anything about it. But when you hang around builders, you don't get away with wasting time. Their work ethic silently challenges you. Their progress makes you ask yourself, "Am I doing enough?" Here's the truth. Your environment is stronger than your willpower. Even the most motivated person can lose their fire if they're surrounded by negativity every day. And even the most average person can become extraordinary if they're surrounded by builders. Picture this: if you put 1 strong apple in a basket of rotten apples, the strong apple doesn't make the rotten ones healthy. The rotten ones infect the strong one. The same goes for people. If your circle is toxic, you will be pulled down, not the other way around. But when you surround yourself with builders, people who are chasing goals, learning, improving, and working on themselves, their energy is contagious. You start thinking bigger. You start raising your standards. You stop tolerating excuses. And here's a little test. Pay attention to how you feel after spending time with someone. Do you feel drained, distracted, and negative? Or do you feel inspired, motivated, and ready to take action? That's the clearest sign of whether they belong in your inner circle. It doesn't mean you cut off everyone who isn't perfect. It simply means you set boundaries. Not everyone deserves your time. Some people belong in your heart, but not in your daily schedule. Remember this: if your circle doesn't push you forward, you don't have a circle. You have a cage. And cages may feel comfortable, but they keep you stuck while life passes by. So choose wisely. Find the builders. Find the people who make you want to do more, who clap for your wins, who challenge your excuses, and who remind you that wasting time is not an option. 7. Dream life built by design, not by accident. Here's the hard truth: nobody wakes up one morning and accidentally finds themselves living their dream life. Success doesn't just fall from the sky. Happiness, wealth, health, purpose, none of it shows up by chance. Your dream life isn't a lottery ticket you randomly win. It's an architecture project, and you are the architect. Think about a skyscraper. Before the building rises, there's a blueprint. Engineers, architects, and workers follow a step-by-step plan. They don't just throw bricks randomly and hope a skyscraper appears. Yet most people live their lives like that, randomly, with no design, no structure, and then wonder why their building collapses. The truth is, your habits, your choices, and your mindset are the blueprint of your life. If you design them with intention, you build something solid. If you live by accident, you get random, unstable results. Ask yourself, did your dream life come closer today, or did you just drift? Because every single day you're either building or destroying. There is no neutral. Let's take 2 examples. One person wakes up, checks their phone, scrolls for 2 hours, goes through the day reacting to whatever happens, wastes evenings on distractions, and then wonders, why don't I feel fulfilled? Another person wakes up with a morning routine, invests an hour into their skill, reads something that expands their mind, makes a plan for the day, and executes it step by step. Who do you think is designing and who's drifting? Life by design is about clarity. You need to know, what do I want? Where am I going? What kind of person do I want to become? Without this vision, you'll spend your whole life helping someone else build their dream while yours stays on the shelf. And here's a powerful thought: your dream life already exists in your imagination. That vision in your head is not random. It's the blueprint. But if you never act on it, it stays a fantasy. If you treat it seriously and break it into small steps, it becomes reality. Look at successful people in any field. None of them got there by accident. They designed their path. They said no to distractions. They built habits. They sacrificed short-term pleasures for long-term vision. They weren't lucky. They were intentional. So the question is, are you designing your life, or just letting life happen to you? Because if you don't design your dream, life will design something for you, and you may not like the result. My friends, life is short, and the clock is ticking whether you move or not. Every hour you waste is a brick missing from the mansion of your dream life. Every excuse you make is a wall standing between you and your destiny. You don't need to wait for the perfect moment. You don't need unlimited resources. You don't need permission from anyone. What you need is discipline, clarity, and daily action. Remember this: your dream life is not built in one day, but it is built daily. The future you desire is waiting for the choices you make today. So stop wasting time. Stop living by accident. Take charge, take action, and start building. Because if you don't build your dream, someone else will hire you to build theirs. The pen is in your hand, the clock is running, and the blueprint is ready. The only question left is, will you build or will you waste?